As the sun peeked through the trees, Maya jumped out of bed bursting with energy. She quickly put on her favorite light yellow top and pink skirt, grabbed her little basket and skipped outside. The soft morning sunlight danced on her platinum hair, welcoming her to another joyful day in the garden she loved so much. Maya stepped into the garden beds filled with fresh greens. She bent down and carefully plucked baby mustard leaves, humming a happy tune. Her little hands didn't mind getting dirty, because to her, every leaf she picked was a gift from the earth. With a small hoe in hand, Maya began to loosen the soil. Each stroke made the earth crumble gently, revealing tiny earthworms beneath. She giggled softly as if hearing the soil breathe, feeling the life hidden in every inch of her garden. While admiring the blooming flowers, a playful butterfly suddenly landed on Maya's nose. She froze, eyes wide in surprise, then burst into giggles. Little magical moments like these made her world feel endlessly full of wonder. With her watering can, Maya gently soaked each plant. Sunlight caught the water as it sprayed, making it sparkle like diamonds in the air. She tilted her head with a bright smile, knowing she was giving her flowers a little morning love. Suddenly, a rooster darted out of the coop, making Maya jump, then laugh. She ran after it, circling the yard, calling and giggling. Her platinum hair flowed in the wind, and her laughter filled the garden with warmth. After calming the runaway rooster, Maya gently reached into a cozy straw nest. She cradled the still warm eggs with care. Each one felt like a little treasure, soft, warm, and full of life. She whispered a soft thank you to her hard-working hens. Maya knelt down and started pulling little weeds around the plants. Though it seemed like a small task, she did it with patience and care. With every weed removed, her garden looked cleaner, and her pride grew brighter. A perfectly ripe tomato caught her eye. Maya picked it, wiped it on her skirt, and took a big bite. The sweet juice burst in her mouth, and she laughed out loud. Nothing tasted better than something she grew with her own 2 hands. As the sun dipped behind the hill, golden light bathed the garden. Maya stood among the rows, wiping sweat from her brow. She was tired, but it was the good kind of tired, the kind that made her heart feel full. That evening, Maya lined up all the veggies she harvested on a table by the porch. Green, red, and golden colors glowed in the fading light. Her eyes sparkled with pride. It was more than food. It was the reward of care, love, and hard work. With a cool drink in hand, Maya sat back and gazed at her glowing garden under the sunset. She smiled softly, knowing she'd spent her day meaningfully. Sometimes the simplest days, when you work hard and smile often, are the ones that stay in your heart forever. Maya leaned in close, eyes wide with wonder as a trail of ladybugs marched along the leaves. She followed them with her finger, whispering hello. In every tiny creature, she saw a whole world, busy, beautiful, and full of magic. As she dug around planting seeds, something squiggled in her palm, a friendly earthworm. Maya yelped, then laughed, holding it up like a new discovery. Life in the soil was funny and squishy, and she loved every bit of it. Later, Maya grabbed her paintbrush and made colorful signs for each plant. Carrots, tomatoes, spinach. Paint smudged her cheeks, but she didn't mind. Her garden was growing, and it deserved names just as lively as itself. When the hose slipped from her hands, it turned into a wiggling snake. Maya shrieked and spun around in circles, laughing as water sprayed like a fountain. Even garden chores turned into dance parties if you had the right spirit. Maya knelt carefully and pressed seeds into the soil one by one. She imagined what they'd look like in a few weeks. Tall, green, and strong. It felt like she was planting little hopes right into the earth. A soft chirp caught her ear. Down by her feet, a tiny bird. Maya gently scooped it up and tiptoed to its tree. Placing it in the nest, she whispered, "You're safe now." Big or small, everyone needed a little kindness. As the day stretched on, Maya felt the sun's warmth slow her steps. She yawned, still holding the watering can. Even when tired, she made sure the last thirsty plants got their drink. That's what dedication looked like. Her dog bounded in, muddy paws and all, and gave her a big slobbery kiss. Maya laughed so hard she nearly fell over. Messy friends made the best moments, and left the best memories. Maya tiptoed to a birdhouse nailed to the old tree. Peeking inside, she hoped to see a nest, maybe even baby birds. She held her breath. Nature's secrets were quiet, but she was a very good listener. Sometimes, Maya didn't need to run or dig. She simply sat on the grass and sketched what she saw: leaves, bugs, and little blossoms. Drawing helped her see things even more closely. The garden wasn't just alive, it was art. At the garden gate, Maya offered a bunch of carrots to her neighbor. "These are for you," she said brightly. Sharing what she grew made her heart feel even fuller than her harvest basket. As night crept in and stars appeared, Maya stood in her garden and waved at the sky. She didn't say anything. She just smiled because she knew today was beautiful, and tomorrow, even better. Maya stretched out on a blanket in the middle of her garden, hands behind her head. She watched the bees buzz gently from flower to flower, their tiny wings shimmering. The world felt peaceful, and her heart felt full. After lunch, Maya gathered vegetable scraps and carried them to the compost bin. She loved the idea of turning leftovers into food for her garden. Nothing was wasted, not when nature was part of the plan. Raindrops began to fall, but Maya didn't run inside. She kicked off her shoes and danced in the puddles, arms wide open. The rain kissed her face, and her laughter echoed through the misty garden. After the rain, Maya spotted a little snail inching across a cabbage leaf. She crouched beside it, watching in silence. It was slow, peaceful, and totally fascinating. Her cat peeked from behind the tool shed, tail twitching. Maya giggled, then ducked behind a bush. A game of hide and seek had begun, and the garden became their secret playground. With careful hands, Maya hung little wind chimes on the tree branch. The breeze picked up, and soft music floated through the garden. Her smile widened. It was her own symphony in the sky. Later, she sat under the big tree with a book in her lap and her harvest at her side. The rustling leaves above and the smell of warm soil made it the coziest reading spot in the world. When the garden gate creaked and leaned, Maya didn't wait for help. She fetched a hammer and fixed it herself. Step by step, tap by tap, she was stronger than she looked. As twilight fell, Maya whispered to her plants. She told them about her day, her dreams, and said thank you for growing so well. She believed they listened, and maybe, just maybe, they whispered back. Fireflies blinked to life all around her. Maya ran through the grass, catching a few in a jar just to watch them glow. Each tiny light felt like a little wish glowing in the dark. Now wrapped in a cozy blanket, Maya sat in a rocking chair, eyes growing heavy. Around her, lanterns flickered like gentle stars. The garden whispered goodnight with every sway of the leaves. As she drifted into sleep, Maya's garden journal rested open in her lap, filled with doodles and notes. The moon smiled down from above. In a world full of noise, Maya had found a little piece of forever, right in her own backyard. Maya knelt down and gasped. Tiny green sprouts poked through the soil. She clapped her hands in delight. It was working. Her garden was waking up, little by little, just like her dreams. With tiny scissors and a big sense of purpose, Maya trimmed the leaves carefully. Every snip felt like a gentle touch, helping her plants breathe and grow. She loved caring for them like family. While the sun began to set, Maya made shadow puppets on the wall. Bunny, bird, a dragon. Her laughter echoed through the yard. Turns out, her imagination bloomed just as wildly as her garden. That evening, she ran to her parents with her journal in hand. She flipped through pages of drawings, notes, and muddy fingerprints. "I did all this today," she said proudly. And they smiled, amazed. At dinner, Maya placed a bowl of strawberries from the garden right in the center of the table. Everyone took a bite and smiled. Sharing the taste of her hard work made everything sweeter. Later that night, Maya lay back and stared at the stars. They twinkled like diamonds in the sky, and she whispered her wishes. The garden had taught her to dream bigger, and to believe they'd grow. Before bedtime, Maya tiptoed behind her dad and tucked a daisy into his shirt pocket. He turned, surprised, and she winked. The smallest things often left the biggest smiles. She found an empty jar and labeled it, "Tomorrow's Dreams." Then she gently blew into it, like sealing a promise. She would open it in the morning, with new plans, new seeds, and new joys. With a glowing lantern in hand, Maya walked the path back to her house. Fireflies blinked all around her like a magical parade. She felt like the garden itself was gently saying goodnight. At the doorstep, Maya brushed dirt from her knees and leaves from her hair. She looked up at the stars one more time and whispered, "Thank you for today." The garden had changed her, and she had changed it too. Back in bed, Maya curled up with her garden gloves right beside her pillow. They were dirty and worn, and perfect. They reminded her of all the fun, work, and magic she had made with her own hands. As Maya drifted into deep sleep, dream bubbles floated above her, of dancing with sunflowers, talking to bugs, and feeding the stars. Her heart was planted in the garden now, blooming with joy forever. The next morning, sunlight spilled across Maya's face. She blinked, stretched, and smiled, ready for a brand new day in her garden of wonder. Over breakfast, Maya flipped through a seed catalog with wide eyes. So many colors, so many choices. Her garden could become anything she dreamed. That morning, she decided the birds deserved a home too. With a little paint and a lot of effort, Maya built her very first birdhouse. It was a little crooked, but made with love. When she hung the birdhouse in the tree, tiny birds came fluttering by. Maya stood still, heart fluttering too. It felt like the garden had new voices joining the choir. With her pencil dancing across the page, Maya started designing new garden shapes: hearts, stars, and secret winding paths. Her imagination had no fences. A splash of water, a burst of light, and suddenly a rainbow stretched across the sky. Maya danced under it, her laughter sparkling as bright as the colors above. On the fence post, a butterfly slowly unfolded its new wings. Maya held her breath. She had watched the cocoon for days, and now magic took flight. Her little cousin came to visit, and together they planted marigolds. Maya passed on what she had learned, and discovered that joy grows faster when it's shared. She made a crown from dandelions and wore it like a queen of sunshine and soil, of bugs and beauty, of patience and play. One sunny afternoon, Maya gave a little garden tour to her classmates. She explained compost, worms, and why ladybugs were tiny heroes. Her voice was shy at first, but by the end it shone. At the town fair, Maya won a ribbon for her garden, most heartfelt creation. She beamed not because of the prize, but because the garden had become part of who she was. And as the sun dipped low once more, Maya stood hand in hand with her friends, surrounded by flowers, vegetables, birds, and dreams. Her garden wasn't just a place. It was her story.